Welcome into Bills Tonight Digital, presented by Hunt Real Estate, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills take down the Chargers in this one, a Week 12 win for the Buffalo Bills. They move on to 8-3 on the season. It's their second consecutive year where they've been 8-3 through this far in the season. A lot of exciting things to come out of this game. Got a little bit close towards the end of the game, but they were able to come out defeating the Chargers. I'd like to welcome in Eric Wood to the broadcast. Eric, watching this game, what are your first takeaways from how this game played out, especially at the end there when it was 24-17 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, right. Well, my first observations on the game were when I asked Coach McDermott in the pregame interview what they specifically worked on during the bye week, and he said running the ball on offense and stopping the run on defense. For me, as a former player, I'm thinking you get a bye week 10 or week 11. There's not a whole lot you can do from a physicality standpoint. These guys are beat up. The Bills have been dealing with a lot of injuries. There's not a lot of physical contact that can go into that development. So the amount of film, the amount of attention that they put on the run game, what they were doing technically and schematically on offense and defense showed up this week in a big way. The Bills over 170 yards on the ground themselves. They were averaging less than 100 per game. And the Chargers came in with a top 10 rushing attack, and they hold them to 74 yards on the ground. So excellent job by both the offense and defense executing what they emphasized during the bye week.
Yeah, Coach McDermott said this team did a lot of self-scouting during the bye week and, of course, healing up because in a Week 11 bye, nobody's 100% anymore during the season. Somebody who had a great game was Cole Beasley. He even got involved in the passing game. Let's send it over to him and hear his post-game thoughts.
Hey, Cole, just looking back at your touchdown pass, it seems like the trick plays work more often than not when you guys pull them out. I guess what do you think leads to that high success rate?
I think it's just the timing in which he calls them. Dave's has done a good job of mixing it up, and he does a good job of keeping them off balance, and that was one of those times right there.
I think I read you played some quarterback in high school. Did you lean on that experience there?
I don't think so. I mean, my feet weren't set right. It was really ugly, but it got there. I'll take it.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Okay, Cole, kind of just could you, first of all, just kind of describe the play as you see it? What are you looking at? I mean, obviously, Gabe beat his man. Just sort of just play it. Walk us through it, please.
Yeah, it's just trying to get him to come up and thinking it was a bubble screen. And I just had to have eyes on the safety, make sure he's not coming over and back there. And the guys who were guarding the guys going deep came up, so I had a chance to throw it.
Does Gabe pretend like he's blocking a little, like he might be a screen there? It looked like he might have
yeah. That's the whole deal. I mean, they sell it more than I do. Right. They sell it with the blocks, and then they give like a 3 count, and then they go.
That was I think it was your first completed pass since Little Elm, right? You didn't throw any passes at SMU.
No, I think it is. Yeah, that's my first one.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think of the spiral? Did it work pretty good in practice?
I actually had one that was really bad in practice, but it was really windy that day, and I was throwing against the wind, so I threw a duck that day. So I'm glad this one turned out a little better.
Okay, thank you.
Cole Beasley moved to Arkansas for Sports 1080. Good win out there today.
Appreciate it.
Now, on that second drive, that second scoring drive, and then to come out in the third quarter, it seemed like today you guys dominated in kind of like in a slow fashion, getting that good balance with run and pass. So try to talk about the good balance you guys had out there today.
Yeah, we had to do something to slow them down. The pass rush was getting to us early, so that affected kind of how we called the game a little bit. We had to get them downhill and mix it up on them a little bit more so they couldn't just pin their ears back and fly at the quarterback. So that definitely helped us a lot today, and the line did a good job in that regard.
Now, who would have thought here it is in Week 11, you'll have more rushing yards than Michael Evans, Julio Jones, by the way that you're playing at an 82% catch rate.
I mean, that's those thoughts are never in my mind. That's kind of the outside stuff. So
that's for me, right?
I just play ball.
Absolutely. Good pass out there today.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Cole. That's everyone.
Yep. Thank you.
Cole Beasley, he is always so chill in interviews, not too high on himself for completing that pass with a really great spiral, I might add, and not worried about what the stats say about his season with his catch rate, but that's been one very impressive thing about his game. When you're looking at the offense in today's game, Eric, how did you see them set up the run and when it started to be successful? Because they went to it early and they weren't getting those yards early, but it seemed like in the second half, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary were able to get some pretty big gains that really ran up the rushing yards in the game as a whole.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show before, Maddie. For a team to be effective running the football, often you have to get the run game going throughout the ball game. And Brian Daboll stuck with it throughout the game. And the pass rush, as Beasley mentioned, was an issue. And Brian Daboll did a great job throughout the game of, being creative. They throw the double pass with Cole Beasley, and that was a great play design. Loved Gabe Davis selling it really well on the outside, which Cole Beasley gave him credit for as well. And then they also use a number of screens and draws to either A, get the run game going, or B, aid in the passing game. And those can really be effective against a pass rush like the Chargers have. But, from the very start, there were times where Brian Daboll tried to leave Joey Bosa one-on-one with offensive linemen, and one of his sacks, he had 3 sacks on the day. One, he was completely unblocked. That was a missed assignment by the offensive line, not necessarily him out-manning somebody. But the other 2 sacks, he showed how effective he can be as a defensive end. And with Ingram out on the other side, I would have liked to see the Bills show him a little bit more attention early. But the Chargers also, you have to give them credit, did a great job of bringing pressure away from Bosa so that you can't just automatically slide to him, double team him, chip him with the running back.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like Bosa was wreaking havoc all over the field during the game. Thankfully, the Bills were able to find the answers when they needed to get into the end zone. But one thing, the offensive line, they really haven't been with their starting 5 all season. I mean, so many injuries have plagued them. Thankfully, not too many long-term injuries, but we're now seeing one with Cody Ford. He is going to be out for the season. Sean McDermott spoke to the media and said that during the week. And so you get Mitch Morse back in this game, though he was out with a concussion previously. So let's send it over to Mitch Morse, who is back in center for the Bills today.
Hey, Vic. Well, welcome back.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and right, let's start right there. How did it feel to get back in there? And while describing that, if you could also add just the thoughts of having been benched, because we really didn't get a chance to talk with you after that Arizona game.
Yeah, for me, it was nice being back with the guys. I have a lot to work on still. I take responsibility for the Barkley hit as well as that fumble snap. So for me, a lot to work on and put our offense in a better position to score and to finish drives. In regards to the week prior, there was complete transparency and candidness from the coaching staff. It's my job to be professional and to go with the flow. And I feel like that's what we did. And now we're here.
And Mitch, one more bigger picture. This team, it's been a pattern, even in wins, where you get a lead, what looks like a comfortable lead, and then it starts getting away, and you let teams hang around. What is your level of concern or thought about that, including what happened today?
I can only speak for myself, and that's just executing. We left some stuff out there, made some plays, and just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. There's a lot to learn from, and it'll be a good film session where we'll have to look at ourselves tomorrow and take the coaching, no matter how it goes, and move forward.
Thank you, Mitch.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, Chris Brown here. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the balance that you felt your run game gave to your offense today. I mean, you guys ran it more than you threw it today. Just the balance you felt that brought to your attack in general.
Yeah, I would say that, that's been a point of emphasis for us. It's just getting those guys going in the run game and executing that. Definitely thought it helped us. There's still things we can work on, but felt good about that department. And Houston, there's some dudes out there. They have a dude, so we tried to limit that as much as possible. We still made his plays, so we have a lot to work on. But we'll take that with us to the next week's game.
Yeah, would you? That was my next question. Would you consider it kind of at least a building block performance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's always good things to take away from games, and I think there's definitely some things in the run game we did well, but you got to be your biggest critic, and it's never been a problem for me. So just got to hone in on some stuff and go from there.
Thanks, Mitch.
Eric, Mitch Morse was very open and candid there in the beginning when he was asked about not playing in the Arizona game, even though he had recovered from that concussion. Just from an offensive lineman's perspective and a former player's perspective, how do you think he dealt with that? How have former teammates have dealt with that in situations that you've been in where, you're a healthy scratch? It's not the best feeling, of course, but Mitch said, I was open and candid. I have to be a professional about this. And even in today's game, I had to do better. There's things that we can all work on. So I guess, how do you think he approached that situation specific to being an offensive lineman?
I think he approached it fine. It's not something I ever had to deal with in my career. I was either hurt or starting, and it would have been really tough for me if they would have said, "Hey, you feel like you're healthy, but we're gonna hold you out." And with concussions, it's so tough because although Mitch felt completely physically fine, it could have been a deal with the coaches where they're looking long term and they don't want Mitch, even though he feels fine and he's recovered and he's cleared to play, they don't want to necessarily throw him out there and risk the long term concussion that could come following if he were to get repeat concussions again this year. So I think it was a smart move by the coaches. He got back out there. The offensive line performed well today. Obviously Joey Bosa had those 3 sacks, and we could talk at length about those. But beyond that, the running game came up huge for the Bills today, and there were a lot of times where Josh did have clean pockets.
Yeah, it's also not like Joey Bosa is just some Joe Schmo off the street. He's a really great player, so you kind of had to guess that he may get home to Josh Allen at least once in this game, but the Bills finished out with a win, so they were able to have success enough against that pass rush that the Chargers present. Devin Singletary, somebody who had a pretty good game, rushing for 82 yards off of 11 carries. You love to see that average. Let's see what he had to say after the win.
Just wanted to start, first of all, with just the balance you felt that the run game gave the offense today. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we ran the ball well. I think we took a step forward as far as in the run game. So I think it was pretty balanced. I think it helped us out a lot.
And then there were some design runs in the plan today for Josh. We hadn't seen as much of those in recent weeks. Do you feel as though it kind of helped to keep the Chargers defense guessing?
Yeah, for sure. When you got to worry about a running back or a quarterback running the ball, and then a quarterback that can sling it, definitely going to keep you on your toes.
And then the last one for you, just the way the defense was able to close this game out for you guys when some things were getting a little screwy on offense.
Man, that's major. That just shows, that those guys have our back and that they always ready for any situation.
The last one I got for you, Gabe Davis, just the way he was able to contribute today for your offense, kind of taking up the slack left by John with Smoke being out of the lineup.
Yeah, man, it was amazing. He had some big blocks. Seen he had a big catch. He's just a selfless guy, and he shows that day in and day out.
Thanks, Dev.
Okay, we have one more. Next question is from John Scott.
Hey, Devin, it's John. I apologize just jumping in here. I know you'd mentioned there was some extra emphasis on the run game in practice this week. Were you able to see the things you guys worked on throughout the week be applied today? And how much is that the reason the running game appeared to be taking off more so than we've seen in the past?
Yeah, I would definitely say it helped. And it showed up a lot. We was getting 5 yards a carry, so that should speak for itself. And definitely, what we did in practice, like I said, it helped. So.
And what were some of those things that you did in practice that translated into the game today?
Yeah, we just had an extra, a run drill. It wasn't even full speed. It was, it's kind of like half speed. But just seeing the guys get to their landmark, that helps us with our landmark. Just kind of helps the offensive line and the running backs get a feel for each other. And it showed today.
And then for you, confidence-wise, next to the New England game, this is your best total yet. I mean, how does this help you moving forward? I know you talked about how playing running back can be about flow. And how does this performance help you with that moving forward?
Definitely. It helps a lot. We know what we could do in the run game. We feel like we could do even better, but we're going to keep taking it day by day. But I feel like it helps out a lot.
Cool. Thanks, Devin.
Mm-hmm.
Motor Singletary, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. Good win out there today.
Appreciate it, man. What's up?
Good. Now, how excited were you to know that, this game plan was really going through your hands and Zach Moss's hands today, especially in that fourth quarter when they knew they had to rely on you guys to get those first downs to keep the sticks moving?
That's big. When the team is looking for us to make plays, we got to step up to the plate. I believe we did that today, but felt good. They needed to count on us, and we made it happen.
You got some good balance, over 170 yards on the ground. What makes this thing continue into next week?
Really just taking it day by day, seeing what we got to clean up, from the run game. It was good, but I'm pretty sure some things that we got to clean up and just keep moving forward, man. Keep stacking these days. I feel like that's all we got to do, to be honest.
Good job, man. Way to come off the bye swinging.
So appreciate it.
Hey, Devin, could you speak to, it's a win and that's good, but the problem of not being able to close these games out a little more easily. It's been a struggle for you guys to close teams out. How much of a concern is that moving forward?
We definitely got to clean that up. We can't have that, especially on the back end of the season, trying to go where we're trying to go. So I'm pretty sure, there's going to be some things that we work on going forward, to clean up. Because like you said, we can't have that on the back end. We got to be able to, make it a little easier and close these games out.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, in this game, we saw a few turnovers from the Bills offense. So where do they go from here? How can they clean that up so you're not in a position at the end of the game where you've got to rely on your defense to close it out so it doesn't turn it into a loss when you're up by, 10 points or more at the earlier parts of the game?
Yeah, really some unforced errors. The Bills weren't in a position where they had to force themselves to make plays. So really uncharacteristic. It was a bad throw by Josh on the interception. The fumbled snap, we haven't seen any of those, I believe, on the year between him and Mitch Morse. That can happen with going back and forth between him and Feliciano, but moving forward, those need to be eliminated. And then the Devin Singletary one, when you're up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, you can't put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, there's something they're definitely going to need to correct before we hit the final weeks of the season. You want to be in a good place for the playoffs, certainly. Well, Josh Allen is available. Let's send it over to him via Zoom.
Josh, I guess just what is your biggest takeaway after a game with so many up and downs, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter?
We're 8-3. That's what our goal was heading into this game, whatever it takes. And we got it done. Our defense played outstanding. Obviously, on the offensive side of the football, we can do a lot more to help us out. 27 points and 3 consecutive turnovers in that third, fourth quarter, whatever it was. We left a lot out there. We know that. We got to be better, and I got to be better taking care of the football. And it's simply what it comes down to. But again, our defense had our back today, and our return game was fantastic with Dre. And when you win 2 of 3 spots in the game, it's usually hard to win, but we found a way.
I know everybody always talks about how difficult it is to win in the NFL, and that is true. That is certainly true. But does it say something about the team that you guys didn't play your best, you made mistakes, and that at the end of the day, you still did get to 8-3, like your goal was?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's a sign of a good team when one side of the ball is not doing their job and the other side can pick it up. It's a 3-phase game, and like I said, I think we won 2 of those phases today, and I wouldn't say we lost on the offensive side, but there's plenty of opportunities that we had that we didn't take advantage of.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, John Warrow. I guess congrats on the win, but I guess just staying on that theme, how much does this offense need to clean things up in some ways if you want to, well, if you really, the style points, I guess, weren't there. What do you make of that?
No, I mean, again, our job is to help put our team in a position to win the game. Early on we did that. Late in the game we didn't. Luckily, like I said, our defense stepped up for us and made some plays. And like I said, it's hard to win this league. We're sitting at 8-3. We put up 27 points against a really good team. That's been in a lot of games. I think they've been in every single one of their games. I think they've lost by 1 possession. So obviously taking care of business and like I said, putting up 27, winning by 10. But again, left a lot out there, and we understand that as an offense, as a group and whole, and a lot of good things that we're gonna watch and gonna come out of this. But after the bye week, trying to shake some of that rust off, and we gotta be better late in the game.
And last thing, I think all of Bills Mafia was worried when you went off the field. What happened there, and I guess how much it looked like it didn't bother you that much because you're still running the ball.
Yeah, just twist it up a little bit, and it happens. But like I said, it's not gonna affect me. We're good.
Good. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, John Scott here. How much of a point of emphasis going into this one was establishing the running game? We know how much you guys worked on it heading into this football game.
Say it again. Sorry.
How much of an emphasis was it to run the football in this game this afternoon, especially after all the work you guys put in during the week and coming out of the bye week at trying to get that going?
Yeah, our guys did a great job. I don't know these stats on the rushing, but I think well over 150 yards. Zach and Motor carried the ball extremely well. They ran hard. When my number's called, I gotta make some plays too. But our guys did a good job blocking up front. And again, you put the ball in your back's hands and let them do things, and they were great today.
And then a follow-up, Joey Bosa, is he as advertised from what you expected to deal with here this afternoon?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's one of the better guys in the league, if not the best guy. And he's strong, he's powerful, he's quick, he's explosive. You can use all those adjectives for him, and he's got a knack of getting after the quarterback.
Thanks, Josh.
Hi, Josh. When you got the penalty for the spike, just what besides just raw emotion, was there anything else to that you were trying to do with it? I mean, was something said beforehand? Or?
No, I mean, I just obviously throughout the game and then coming after I had to sit out for a play or whatever. Just a lot of emotion in the play, and I play with my heart on my sleeve and let the emotions get to the best of me. I can't do that and put our team in jeopardy and lose 15 yards on the kickoff. So that'll be better than that.
And in general, you mentioned you guys will always have that list of things you want to address. I would imagine for the season too, just a lot of these cases where you've had big leads, teams get a chance to come back for a variety of reasons. Do you see the closing out struggle thing as something that has to be addressed to the highest level? Is it that much? How big of a concern is it for you?
It's not a concern. We're an offense that's able to adapt and find different ways to win. And our defense, like I said, they helped us out a lot tonight and forcing a couple of turnovers late. I mean, it takes a team to win football games, and we can be better, especially in the fourth quarter of this game. But I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. I think we've been pretty good in that area. So, we're sitting at 8-3. I think obviously we got a lot of work to do, but 8-3 is pretty good.
It is. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, I was just hoping you could comment on the job that Gabe did in terms of helping pick up the slack left by the absence of Smoke. And not only the plays he made in the pass game, but even some of the blocking he did for your run game today.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic today. I don't expect anything less from him. He's a guy that's always willing to put the team first and do whatever it takes, and you saw that today. So he's just one of those guys that he's obviously young, but he plays a lot older than what he is. Does the right things on and off the field, and he's gonna be really good in this league for a long time.
Thanks.
The quarterback press conference is presented by Energy Mark, the official energy supplier to the Buffalo Bills.
So the reason why the offense was able to have success today on the field is because the defense was able to get off the field quickly in some situations. A.J. Klein had 14 tackles. Tremaine Edmonds had 11. Trey White had an interception. How is the defense able to help out the offense today?
Yeah, they brought a lot of pressure against the rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert, and they brought it throughout the game. I thought one of the biggest factors in the game was their right tackle, Brian Bulaga, was out, and Jerry Hughes, because of that, had a big game. It didn't show up tremendously. He had a half a sack on the day, but he was applying constant pressure around the edge, which forces him up, which helps out an Ed Oliver to get a sack, helps out an A.J. Klein to get a sack and a half himself.
Any day that Jerry has a sack, even if it's a half a sack, it's a good day. Sean McDermott is available on Zoom after the game. Let's hear his thoughts on this win against the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, there's I know the want to is there, Heather. I'd say, the want to is definitely there. I think we're learning and growing through some of these. We got to do a better job taking care of the football, and then the penalties hurt us. That combined on the offensive side, then defensively, I thought we did some good things in the last drive, and then the big we gave them fourth and long in the big two big passes back to back. So I think again an opportunity for us to learn.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, congrats on the win. I understand that being 8-3 is more important than really any reason that you might not be 8-3. But to follow up on Heather, to what extent does that give you that teachable or coachable thing on the closing out and how you address it maybe going forward, just knowing what it means for this team to not let teams back in games, because at some point that can bite you.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely can clean some things up, Vic, to your point, in the fourth quarter there. Again, it comes back to the ball. The ball keeps people in games. And we didn't do a good enough job with the ball. And we had some penalties there. And again, just to, closing the team out, we got them in fourth and long. So we got to do a better job there as well. I do think there was a lot of good things, and it is good. It's hard to win in this league, man, and you know it. So it's good to be 8-3.
And one more, Sean, on mindset, because you know this as well as anybody. You preach that on so many levels. Can that be a mentality that you said the desire is there? Can you ask for more than that in terms of players just understanding what it means to keep control all the way through and not do a thing to mess it up when you're up by 18 or whatever?
Yeah. Well, if I'm laying on the ground, one of these days, you'll know why. Don't know why.
Okay.
You'll know why. It would be nice, Vic. It would be nice. I know. Look at this. I came to Buffalo with a full head of hair. I had a full head of hair when I met you guys, right?
All right. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, Matt Bove here. I guess you talk about the self-inflicted wounds and you talk about, the things that are keeping the other team in a game. For you, what is the most frustrating? What self-inflicted wound is the one that, gets you the most fired up, I guess?
Really all of them, because they all factor into the game. So, look, we came off the bye, we got to win. And yeah, we've got a lot of things to clean up, which and I got on the tail end of Josh's call there. He hit it, right? So a lot of things to clean up. That's why we go back to work, go back to practice, and That's why we coach, and we got a great group of guys who I know are going to come back with a growth mindset and attack it head on here.
I know, no football team is complete and you've never arrived, but does it say something that in a day when you guys didn't play your best, especially down the stretch, you were still able to get a win?
Feel good about that. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to get into really, that too much though. Again, I feel good about the win, man. These are hard to come by, really hard. And that's a good football team. And they're well coached by Anthony, as I've said all week long. And they've got good players. So just very proud of the guys that we were able to stay on the mission and stay focused. And, we had some plays that we got to get cleaned up, as I've said.
Thank you, Sean.
Yep.
Hey, Sean. Question on Brian Winters. You guys said a few guys were in the mix this week. He gets his 9th start. How would you say he's been performing, not only today, but, now 9 games into the season with you guys? How would you say he's been doing?
Yeah, look, he's a veteran player that, he's come in and done a nice job. And he continues to get on the same page with the other guys now. We've got a little bit of continuity from one game, I guess. Real proud of the way he's embraced how we do things here. He's been really in one spot his whole career, and in the division at that. So I really appreciate the way he's embraced us here, and he's added to who we are.
And as you mentioned, that continuity piece, is there some excitement in the building to now have this maybe group of 5 and maybe see what they can do over the course of a few games together?
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? When you can have guys that play together, they've communicated together, they know looks, they know how each other's going to fit off each other, and that's always positive.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Coach, 2 things real quick. First, can you just comment on how your defensive effort seemed to morph and change to what was needed in the game? For example, you may not have gotten sacks in the first half, but you were hurrying Justin Herbert's kind of timing of his plays. You were forcing a lot of incompletions. And then in the second half, when some adverse circumstances got thrown at your defense, just the way they were able to respond every single time, particularly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I thought that was very impressive, Chris. I thought Leslie and the staff did a great job during the week, shaping a good game plan with good communication, and the players embraced it. And they spent a lot of time this week. That's a good offense, right? And they've been hot, and with weapons all over. And then getting Eckler back, I think, was a big jolt for them, and in a good way. And our guys rose to the challenge. So that's what we got to do every week.
Sorry. And then on the other side of the ball, just the balance that you felt your run game provided for the offense as a whole today.
Yeah, that was big. We go from, I think, 50-some yards in the first half to, 173? Is that what it was? Somewhere thereabouts, in the second half. And I'm proud of the offensive line, the backs, and Coach Daves and the way he handled it.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, how proud are you of the way that your team has progressed defensively? It seemed like early on in the season, everybody was kind of freaking out, and you kind of said, we need to be, it's early in the season. Was this how your team has progressed going up against top offenses the last 3 games? How proud are you of the way they've stayed disciplined and kind of come together?
Yeah, I tip my hat to the defensive staff, Coach Frazier, and the defensive staff and the players, led by Tremaine and our front, and then you're looking at a back end that's done some good things also. So they're really starting to play well together and get on the same page. And I think that's a credit to all of them.
You being a defensive-minded coach, does it start to feel better starting to frustrate some offenses again?
No, I'm not, again, I want to give the credit where it's due to those guys. I try and balance my time between offense, defense, and special teams, but that's the defense I expect. I expect that every week. And I think it just goes back to, and you got to start every week, fundamentals, technique, spending time in the film room together, all those things is a big part of earning the right to win, and they did that.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Sean, was there, I guess, even more of a concerted effort to establish the run today compared to weeks past, especially after spending the last week in that deep dive to kind of solve it?
I don't know. I mean, we knew, like all teams, you identify the gap of where you are and where you want to be, Marcel, and so then you evolve during the game, and I think I thought our coordinators did it well. Coaches had great communication during the game, and again, the players are the ones that they have to execute. They got to do it, and I thought they did that in the second half in particular. To your point.
And we've seen you win this week with a run heavier script. We saw it in week, 8, 9 against the Patriots as well. Have you done enough to, prove or be comfortable knowing that you can win a game, whether it's throwing the ball or running it?
Yeah, I think you never want to take it for granted, but it's again developing a football team, and whether it's the defense or in this case with the run game offensively. You got to continue to morph and evolve and grow, and develop as a football team. And there's still a gap. We still, as been mentioned clearly on this call, we still have a lot to work on.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, it's Kim Jones, and I know I'm asking this after a win, but I'm curious how you process some of the self-inflicted stuff, including the 15-yard penalties. And I would guess you put some of the turnovers in that category as well.
Kim, I think you know me well enough. That doesn't sit well with me. And the great part about it, honestly, Kim, is it doesn't sit well with our team, the players and the coaches, right? It's one thing for me to get upset about it, but at the end of the day, it's about clear expectations, and our players have a great understanding for what we want, and honestly what wins in this league. And you can't do that to yourself.
Your players who came on, at least this Zoom I'm on, almost sounded like they lost the game. I mean, I think that you can take heart in the fact that they take it to heart, right?
Yeah, I know my team. I know our team, Kim, and that's the great part about these guys and these gals is whether it's our staff. I'm talking just staff, not just the coaching staff, but everyone knows we've gotten to the point where we know what people know what's expected, and you can't do that and expect to win games. You're living dangerously, and so look, at the end of the day, there's always things to work on. It's certainly good to come out with the win against a good football team.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure, Kim.
Sean McDermott's press conference is presented by Hunt, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills.
All right, Eric, the Bills have 5 games left, 2 Monday night games, a Sunday night game, and a Saturday afternoon game. Only one Sunday 1 p.m. kick remains for the Buffalo Bills. And by the way, next week's game, we're not sure where it's going to be played because according to Santa Clara officials, due to COVID restrictions, they're not allowed to have any practices or games in that county where the 49ers play at for the next 3 weeks. So with all of this, and with the Bills playing so many night games, something that they're really not used to as of the last few years under Sean McDermott, as this team's been built up and gotten better every year. Mindset-wise, where does this team need to be at, knowing that they have some really important games coming up, some night games, but also knowing that you're not sure what's going to happen because of COVID, and we're seeing it with this Monday night game on the schedule here next week?
Well, in 2020, you just have to be flexible, and stuff like what will happen next Monday is going to happen, and you prepare like you always would. And they've already learned their lesson once. They didn't come out as sharp against Tennessee when that game was in a state of flux. So they'll learn from that. They'll be better because of it. When you look at these primetime games, the Bills have earned it. They earned this spotlight through their play last year and through this season. So it's an honor to play in all these primetime games. And, yes, they'll get out of their Sunday at 1 rhythm, but that's good because moving forward, looking at the playoffs, there's not a lot of Sunday. There's only one Sunday at 1 game each week. The other ones are afternoon or evening or night games. So for the Bills, it would be great prep for what is hopefully another playoff run.
Yeah, that's very true. The Bills are getting their mind right, their mind set for the playoffs to come. Of course, one game at a time, 1 week at a time, like Sean McDermott likes to say. We're going to wrap it up here. Eric, thanks for the time. If you want more analysis from Eric and me, more highlights, more sound bites, make sure you tune into MSG at 11:30 for the full version of Bills Tonight. We will catch you guys next week.